Hey guys, it's Kate, and welcome to another Autism Digest interview, where today we have a figure I'm very excited to talk to. You might know him as a voice actor, a really well-known figure in the Brony community, Bronies being fans of My Little Pony. You might know him from his collabs with Lost Narrator, Just Scorcher, Mr. William DaWillStanator Patterson. Thanks for coming on, Will.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right. I think a lot of people in the Brony community definitely recognize you. 66K subscribers on YouTube is huge, and you've collaborated with the biggest names in the Brony community. But for those that may not know you, and for our audience, do you mind telling a bit of your story in your own words?
Sure, I can tell a little about that. Hi, my name is Will Patterson. I have been an online voice actor for well over like 10 years. Um, I've been a part of the Brony fandom ever since 2011 after discovering it like as a joke, and I did not expect it to grab me. And it was through the community that made me want to, like, I've done online projects before 2010, like by myself, but I actually wanted to get serious about the craft around the time My Little Pony became a thing. And yeah, I've been a part of some pretty big projects. One of the biggest being Bride slash Daughter of Discord, which is an audio drama where I play the titular character of Discord. Like you said, I've worked with people like the Lost Narrator, Josh Scorcher, and Toucan LDM, among other peoples that escape my mind at the moment. But yeah, I've done a variety of different projects, animations, audio dramas, music albums. So I'm also a singer too. And yeah, even though the show itself has ended back in 2019, I'm still going strong with making content, be it either for myself or for other people. I just like staying creative. That's really all it is. Otherwise, I'd just be sitting on my couch, just sprawled out and kind of being a drooling zombie. It's like, what do I do? But yeah, I'm a creative
I
guy. I
respect
just I
that.
just can't stop. You know.
I respect that, but I'm the same way. If I'm not doing some of the projects I do for people, I would have no purpose, and I'd be on the couch or my bed, head sprawled out like an animal. My next question for you is: do you have any experiences interacting with the autism or neurodiverse community that you want to discuss?
Sure. My mother, who sadly passed away in 2016, was actually a special needs teacher at my sister's high school. Um, around, interestingly enough, around when My Little Pony aired in 2010, she actually went back to school to get her master's degree. And so that way she could, because at the time, both me and my father had divorced, and she wanted to get a degree so that way she could earn more income to support both myself and my sister, who had just, I want to say she was like over 10 years old at the time this happened, and I was still in college. So, but yeah, she went back to get her master's degree and teach at my sister's high school for special needs. So she went through the motions of learning more about how to teach kids with special needs who were like inattentive or needed to be, you know, taught a different way than the normal curriculum and stuff like that. And she has worked with quite, I guess no other way to put it, she worked with a wide spectrum of people who were on the spectrum, both high functioning and low functioning. And the stories that she told me kind of really opened my eyes about uh, what different people on the spectrum are like, what their behaviors are, how they react to certain things, and what the best way is to, you know, coincide with each of these people, no matter where they are.
Exactly. I'm thinking about getting into some form of special education myself once I get my degree. And hey, because I've been through the ringer myself of that system, and while I did have a good relationship with my teachers, there's a lot of improvement that needs to be done. So I'm glad you grew up in that environment, which transitions beautifully into my next question. Speaking of environments, fandoms can be incredibly supportive, but they can also face issues like harassment or gatekeeping. What steps can communities like the Brony fandom take to be safer for neurodivergent members?
Well, ain't that a loaded question? The best sort of tip that I can think of off the top of my tongue is knowing how to properly screen people with their behaviors, especially like how they act in public social spaces. And I'm not just talking about like conventions or just like out in, out in the town and all that, how they carry themselves on social media. And I had to learn this the hard way, like how you carry yourself and the sort of language and the tone that you're using with whatever posts you make, be they either creatively or on sites like TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, yada yada yada. How you carry yourself and the aura that you put out, be it either visually with your face or with just the words that you type, they can hold weight. And interestingly enough, I think, like there is a wide variety of people on the spectrum itself, I think there's also like another spectrum of how people choose to react to those posts. Some can either choose to just ignore it, some choose to take it with a grain of salt or at least as a warning, and some just go right on in, no holds barred, and not bother to do any research and take things at face value. So I guess at the end of the day is know what to look for and be on the lookout for common red flags. Now, each of those red flags can mean different things to different people, be it either in the general sense or as to you personally, but just know what to look for and approach everything. A bit of a roundabout analogy, but bear with me. It's like going up to a wild animal and just being very careful with how you approach it. If you like go in at full speed, you could get attacked. But if they show that they're docile and just bear with me, trying to find the words. It's yeah, just knowing what to look for and how you approach them can mean a lot. And a lot of things, especially in this era of social media and in fandoms in general, a lot of it can be exaggerated. So just making sure to try to keep as level ahead as you can. And because it is something I've learned that is unfortunately can be taken for granted. Our brains tend to process emotions faster than logic. So if you just take a bit and say, like, hold up, let me look into this, let me see if this is what they truly mean. And yeah, just be wary of how people present themselves, either through their words, through their texts. Just there is a lot of things to watch out for, and I know it can feel like it's a lot, but just just be cautious. That's all I can really say. I know it's a bit of a loaded answer, and now that I think about it, I may not have said much, but it's at least something. That's what I tend to do. I approach things very carefully and let things sit for a little bit, so that way I can have some time to really think of, you know. Hopefully that makes sense.
That makes total sense. And that's how anything in society works, really. You just have to use your judgment without judging anyone by standards. Which transitions into my next question. The Brony fandom is known for music or animation and writing. Why do you think it has become such a strong creative outlet for neurodivergent creators?
I think because the source material in it of itself is very, I don't know if open-minded is the proper term, but it opens a gateway of sorts because it feeds a lot into your sense of wonder and into your sense of creativity through not just its visuals but its storytelling. And I just feel like it's one of those rare things that can really open up a metaphorical third eye. And yeah, I think like it's one of those things, like if you watch it long enough, you'll start to get ideas flowing in your head. And what you do with those ideas is up to you. It's I mean, like the sort of the same things could be said for, other IPs like say Star Wars or Star Trek or just general animation in general. With animation being a common interest for people on the spectrum, myself included, it offers a wider variety of things you can do with it. With live action, yeah, it can offer like a bit of structure, but you're kind of stuck with what live action people can do. With animation, it's like the world's your oyster. The sky's the limit and that sort of thing. And My Little Pony is no exception. It created an albeit unexpected community, but with what it spawned, I don't think a lot of people would trade for anything, not just creatively, but, you know, relationships and friendships. And, it's it's how I met my wife. It's how I'm taking my career more seriously. It's it's it it's a big important stepping stone for a lot of people. And yeah, just I mean, I my answer could probably apply to any sort of community, but with My Little Pony, I think because Lauren Faust, the original person behind it, wanted to make it not like break down gender stereotypes. Like, I think at the end of the day, she wanted to make a show not just for girls, but for families. Kind of like kind of like Disney in a sense. She wanted to make something that could be enjoyed by anybody, no matter if they're on the spectrum, no matter what their gender, no matter what they identify as, something that could be appealing to everybody. And I think it's safe to say that she more than succeeded, and the show more than succeeded on that front. So, hope that makes sense.
It definitely does. And right, I got back into the show just recently, and it definitely appeals to everyone. I was going to ask what the appeal was, but you answered it beautifully. Everyone can connect with the show in some way, shape, form, fashion, or description. Which transitions into my last question. What does the future hold for you? Do you have any projects you want to promote?
Unfortunately, no. A lot of the stuff that I'm a part of right now, I unfortunately cannot talk about due to NDA, or they're still in the pipeline of being produced. So, believe me, there are a lot of things that I do, in fact, want to talk about. I just can't. But, just, I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. I my own spectrumized brain has a need to feed on creativity, so it's like it's like Seymour. I gotta constantly feed it.
I respect that. Anyways, that's going to do for the you guys. Thanks so much to Will for coming on and sharing his perspectives. If you guys want to see more amazing interviews, research, like, comment, and subscribe to my Autism Digest channel. Get our latest disc. Ooh, and be on the lookout for our next issue focusing on the arts by going to autismdigest.com. And stay tuned for the audio file of this interview to be posted on our Spotify. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.